The Tree of Men. Presentation by Paz Cardin, Director of Biosynthesis Spain and Senior Trainer of Biosynthesis. Extracted from the article written by David Boadella, The Tree of Men and the Fundamental Dimensions of Biosynthesis. Therapeutic, pre-therapeutic, and trans-therapeutic dimensions. They underlie the work in biosynthesis. In many cultures and traditions, we find the symbol of the tree as a metaphor of life, a union between heaven and earth, giving a sense of human nature. In Christianity, Jesus was crucified on a tree, and this allowed him to access to resurrection. In the Egyptian myth of Osiris, the tree also is linked to rebirth. In Buddhism, Buddha received enlightenment sitting under a tree. In the Kabbalah, we find the tree of life as a central symbol of Judaism. Darwin also referred to the tree of life as the tree that unites all the species on Earth. Carl Gustav Jung alluded to the tree to describe the process of individualization that takes place in the development of the human being and refers to the process of becoming internally non-divided. The tree also gives an account of how the human being is formed, with its roots that brings us into the world and keeps us attached to it, with its trunk that gives it stability and strength, and the openness of its branches that reach out into the world and make the tree manifest itself. Its fruits and flowers speaks to us of the harvest and the result of that expression, the consequence of our manifestations in the world. The tree has roots that grow into the earth and provide the tree with the fundamental nutrients. In biosynthesis, 3 roots correspond to what we have called the 3 life streams, which account for the tripartite nature of the human being. The 3 life streams are associated with resonant levels of information present at all levels of our body. From functional embryology, we find 3 layers in our somatic formation that constitute the internal, external, and middle tissues. 3 currents are rooted in our morphology and in our psychology and are expressed in our energetic metabolism. The energetic currents of affection related to the well-being derived from the energy flows of physical and emotional nourishment. The energetic currents and energy flows associated with free and harmonic movements. And the energetic currents and energy flows associated with the pleasurable contact of the skin and some sensory organs. The energetic currents are resources of life, energy that flows and shapes the body. Stress between these organ systems cause the integration between the currents to break down and become dysfunctional. The negative charge and the rupture in the integration of the energetic flows, the actual foundation of life, constitutes the somatic basis of neurosis. The roots of a tree nourish the whole organism at the multiple vertical levels of its being. In biosynthesis, we are concerned with the different forms of routine. A physical routine in one's own body. A sexual routine with the body of the other. Routine in our home ground, but also in nature and the earth we all share. Routine in a family and in a community. Roots in language and in beliefs. And an inner routine that gives the deepest meaning to our lives. They are actual roots, also anchored in memory or imagined, which are part of the resources that a person has to overcome moments of crisis. In Neurosis, we remember traumas and we forget the fundamentals of life. However, it is also in the internal experience of the trauma that we will find the resources to be able to repair them. The spine has 7 natural nodes from where it bends and curves and where the centers of our energy system are located, linked to the major glands of the body. The spine is the main integrative axis of the body, extending from the pelvis to the brain, passing through the nerve centers that regulate digestion and sexuality, the balance of the heart, the throat and the language field, the listening of the ears, and finally the brain itself. Therapeutic work seeks to move up and down through these life fields, helping the person to increase integration with him or herself by helping to communicate internally and to transfer information as a way to solve problems, tensions, and conflicts in the personal relationships. The life fields correspond with the different therapeutic access routes. Networks of connectiveness. The tree is not alone. It is an organism that is part of a forest, together with other organisms, is a part of an ecosystem. Nor is the human alone. We have lifelines and relationships that extend before us, backwards in time, through our parents and grandparents. Then we have the lifelines with our contemporaries, a whole immense process of forming a co-territory with other human beings, a compromise between autonomy and dependence, separation and fusion. We have lifelines that extend after us, through our children and our grandchildren. Not only those we generate physically, but also those we generate through a personal and professional engagement. The tree has rings. Each year the trunk expands and draws a new ring. The timeline of the tree is encoded in its rings. Likewise, the human being grows from the cell that duplicates and duplicates itself and forms the body throughout time. Life forms, structures of integration. In psychotherapy, we have the concept of a structure and lack of a structure. When there is too little structure in a person, we have a deficiency of coherence, a tendency to disintegrate. The extreme form of this is a psychotic state, full of incoherence. Intense energies are moving or congeal, but the person is unable to structure them or to integrate the pains in his life. A person with excessive structure has become rigid, hard, and full of ego-constructed concepts. A person with a structure, but with fluidity, conforms a subtle and full of life energy system. The top of the tree is called a crown, in the same way as the crown on the top of the human head. By light streams in biosynthesis, we are referring to our access to the spirit. Rays of light descend upon us from a spiritual dimension of being. The quality dimension of being, as understood in biosynthesis, is transsomatic but embodied, is transpersonal but personally incarnated, indestructible, yet capable of being forgotten, overlaid and clouded. We can forget our qualities, but they do not forget us. There is a mystery behind the problem, a healing behind every wound, a true face behind the mask.